Founding Director at Inflammation Research Center, San Diego, California, USA, to have him in our midst. Thank you so much, sir, for availing your time, and we hope and wish you a pleasant and a fruitful stay here in Umami. He's also been accompanied by his lady wife, Mrs. Uma Agarwal. Thank you so much, madam. I hope your stay here will be a fruitful one. I now request all the following dignitaries to kindly take the seat on the dais as I call out the names. Firstly, I would like to invite our chief guest for today, Professor Pardeshi Lal, Vice Chancellor, Nagaland University, to take the seat on the dais. Professor Pardeshi Lal has served as a professor of zoology in Manipur as well as Nagaland University. He did his PhD from Banaras Hindu University. He was awarded the Commonwealth Academic Staff Fellowship to pursue postdoctoral research in the UK. He has also contributed immensely towards development of Nagaland University in different capacities, such as HOD, Dean School of Sciences, Controller of Examiner, and presently as the Vice Chancellor of Nagaland University. Sir, I would like to request you to kindly take the seat on the dais. And also, I would like to request Professor Sharat Chandra University, NU GIAN Coordinator, to felicitate our chief guest for today, Professor Pardeshi Lal. I would like to invite our guest of honor, respected Professor Bharatbhi Agarwal, Director of Inflammation Research Center, San Diego, California, USA, to take the seat on the dais. Dr. Agarwal started his career with a startup biotech company, Genentech Inc., where his work led to the discovery of TNF-alpha and TNF-beta, an essential component of the immune system, and identification of the receptors. Previously, he was a professor at the University of Texas, MD, Anderson Cancer Center, USA. He has been investigating the role of inflammatory pathways mediated through TNF, NF-kappa B, STAT3, and CXCR4 for the prevention and therapy of cancer, osteoporosis, and other chronic diseases. He is inventor, co-inventor on over 33 patents. He has been listed as one of the most highly cited scientists by the Institute of Scientific Information in the world. Dr. Agarwal has published about 700 papers in peer-reviewed international journals, and his overall citation till now is 99,099 with an H index of 164. I would like to request our dear VC, Professor Pardeshi Lal, to felicitate our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Bharatbhi Agarwal. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Professor T. Sangyu Yadan, Professor and Dean School of Sciences, Nagaland University, to occupy the seat on the dais. He is also the head of the Department of Geography, Nagaland University. I also request Professor Sharat Chandra University to felicitate our Dean of Sciences, Professor T. Sangyu Yadan. Thank you, sir. I now invite invite Professor B. Kilangla Jamir, Professor and Dean of Research, Development and Consultancy, to take the seat on the dais. I request Professor Sarat Chandra University to felicitate our Dean RDC, Professor B. Kilangla Jamir. Thank you, sir. I now invite Dr. Bendang Au, Associate Professor, Department of Zoology, to take the seat on the dais. He is also the head of Department of Zoology, Inaugural University. I would like to request Dr. Sarat Chandra University to felicitate Dr. Bendang Au. Thank you, sir. I invite Professor Sarat Chandra University to kindly take the seat on the dais, and I would like to invite our BC to felicitate our NU GIAN coordinator, Professor Sarat Chandra University. I invite Professor Udeshi Lal, our BC, to felicitate our NU GIAN coordinator. He is a faculty of Department of Biology, Nagaland University. He obtained postdoctoral training in neurogenetics from University of Regensburg, Germany, and National Institutes of Neurological Disorders and Strokes of NIH, USA. Also, the head of Drosophila Neurobiology Laboratory in Nagaland University, and follows Drosophila approaches to understand Parkinson's disease, associated neurodegeneration, and identify novel therapeutic targets which may help to reduce the burden of TD in women. I would also like to request Professor Sarat Chandra University to felicitate our Sir, Lieutenant Colonel Sunil Narula, retired officer. Thank you, sir. I also request Ms. Stephen Lay to felicitate our Madam Mrs. Uma Agarwal. Thank you. Mother Teresa once quoted, "Prayer is not asking, prayer is putting oneself in the hands of God." I request Mr. Santiago to pronounce the invocation prayer.
Good morning. May we all kindly bow our heads once. Father, we say thank you for this beautiful day that you bless upon us, a day we have been waiting for and working upon, and you have brought us to a reality. We want to say thank you so much. Thank you for all the people, Father, those who have made this day possible. Because of their hard work, Father, this day is coming to a reality. May you bless them and honor them. At this moment, we also pray for the program that is going to start from today for the next 4 days. We pray your blessing be upon the program for the rest of this. We ask for your blessings in everything that we do. We also pray for our resource persons, bless them. We also pray for all the participants. We pray your blessing be upon them. We pray that this conference will be a productive and a meaningful one for all of us. We want to say thank you so much for everything, and we commit everything into your mighty hand. And may your will be done. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Sendianger. Now we will have the lighting of the lamp. I would like to invite all the dignitaries on the dais to kindly come forward and light the lamp. Thank you all. To welcome is to show honor. To welcome is to establish integrity. I now invite our Sir, NU GIAN Coordinator, Professor Sarat Chandra University, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you for the time, Chair, Ms. Abuno Tepa. Good morning and welcome to all. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Pardeshi Lal, our foreign expert, guest of honor, Professor Bharat Agarwal, our Dean School of Sciences, Professor Sanjeev, our Dean RDC, Research and Development, Professor Kilangla Jamir, our Head of the Department of Zoology, Dr. Bendangavu, Madam Buma, Dr. Upadhyaya, Mr. Naru, Professor Rawat, Professor Kakati, my colleagues Pranay Rajesh, volunteers, invitees, scholars, and friends. The Government of India, actually I'm glad to be both the coordinator for the program and GIAN also, I coordinated. So it is important to know the GIAN program of Government of India. So the GIAN, the idea is, yes, we are good, but science is inherently international. That is important point. We all need to understand, appreciate, and follow it. Therefore, when it is inherently, knowledge is inherently international, geographical borders are maybe the political. Therefore, it is important to take advantage of the sources of the knowledge. Therefore, humans are very important, people are important. Wherever they are, we need to coordinate, cooperate, bring them together, and to take advantage and for the growth and development of the science and technology of this country, this great country. The idea is how we can take advantage of all the great scientists and entrepreneurs scattered all over the world, particularly in the developed world, and take the advantage of their great services and strengthen the science and technology in this country. That is the idea behind the GIAN. So, very name says Global Initiative of the Academic Networks. In US, networking very professionally they teach. There are some developed countries, if you go to NIH or Stanford or any place, they will teach how to make network. Here in India, everybody is smart. We are kind of isolated islands. Everybody wants to be on their own. So networking is very important. Even the brain, with the billion, million networks, it creates wonders. So networking is equally relevant in real life. But if this is the idea, how to translate this idea into action? So for that, you need a mechanism. So what is the mechanism? The mechanism is this new government under the dynamic leadership of Mr. Narendra Modi. That time, it was the first phase. The Minister of the Human Resources was Smriti Irani. So what they thought, there was a retreat. In developed countries, actually, this retreat idea is from the developed countries. Retreat means annual retreat. When the focused and brilliant minds, when they meet together and they relax, innovations will come. That is the idea of meeting people over a retreat. We used to have NIND's retreat. People come for fun, but if you are focused and if you take some time off, miracles can happen. Similarly, the world's best institutes, at least by Indian standard, Indian Institute of Technologies, there was a retreat of IITs in Goa that time, and Smriti ji was the Education Minister, Human Resources. Yes, credit to the P.V. Narasimha Rao, Education Minister. He named it as Human Resources. It is not the education, it is the human resources are very important for the strength of a nation. So they thought, why don't we work? They have the luxury of these IITs, IIMs, and new institutes like ISERs and NISERs. Why can't the central universities and other academic institutions, they can have this luxury? Let us introduce a scheme so that people can network. So here came the birth of this GIAN, Global Initiative of the Academic Networks. But the point is, what is the objective of it? Idea is bring the guys all over the world, take advantage of them. So how one can do that? In simple, the idea is, maybe short-term course, maybe 1 week or 2 week program you organize for an expert, coordinate it, and see that a kind of similarity with the host scientist and the guy foreign scientist. They should, when you host some particular, for example, we work on Drosophila neurobiology, but there is a kind of, so much of crosstalk among multiple chronic diseases, including cancer. So the idea is, okay, you work in a field and pick up a similar field and coordinate with it, let that gentleman come over here. So what is the objective? Objective is people can network, and the students also can network, faculty members can network, and importantly, they motivate the international experts. You learn from them. It is not that for knowledge is for the sake of the knowledge. In order to strengthen the science and technology, in order to address the fundamental questions that a host country is facing, that is the important objective of this GIAN program, which means take the expertise from others, but set your home straight, help your home. That means we have certain problems, take their expertise and help your country. That is the prime, one of the prime motives of this GIAN program. So with this idea, till now Government of India has supported 2,000 programs, out of which 1,500 are already completed. And even the third phase is open just now. Still plenty of time is there, a month time is there. If any of the faculty members of Nagaland University, if they are interested, there is a mechanism. We all know, we shared across the departments and the faculty members. They can initiate the process and they can host and they can take a chance so that it will be mutually beneficial for the host and the guest. Yeah, we are all the faculty members are welcome for this. This is the idea. So what happened in 2016? One of the postdoctoral fellows of Professor Bharat B. Agarwal, the Kurkumin man, Kurkumin, and Professor Bharat name are, very synonymous. You see, as you see us on the PubMed, curcumin, a orally bioactive, it is a TNF inhibitor. That means it is a good guy. It helps to address the pathology or to reduce the disease or prevent the disease. So in 2016, 3 years back, one of the professors, postdoc, now he is a professor in University of Technology, Guwahati, a good friend of mine, Professor Kunumukar Ajay. So he said, sir is coming for a talk. It's a fantastic idea. Ajay has initiated. Just come, everybody, please come. My guru is coming. Listen to him. Oh, I thought Professor Bharat is coming. So I just drove down to IIT Guwahati and I listened. I had the first great opportunity to listen to sir. Then it was so nice of him. We were just traveling for maybe 2 minutes. It was so nice of him. I just said, this is the work I'm doing it. I took 30 seconds. Wow, you're doing Nagaland curcumin. So what is the result? Just I shared with a few slides. I was carrying my iPad and I showed. So wow, very nice. It was the first meeting. He said, any kind of academic support you need it, shut up, just come to me. I'll do it. It's an amazing thing. Otherwise, I never expected that. Man of curcumin, Professor Bharat Agarwal. You say, I don't know. I thought it's fine listening to him. It's a great opportunity. Fine, done, right? Then get out and go back to Nagaland and work. You do your job. But I never thought. And then we continued further. That is important, the networking. So when the GIAN program came, I said, sir, do we have time? Why not? Let us see, let us start. Then we applied. It took the whole process almost 2.5 years. Even that time, our present Vice Chancellor, Professor Pardeshi Lal, was within the department. He was also part of the process. So application was successful. Then rest. Then the question is, why Professor Bharat Agarwal? It is like this. People may think it is a very Drosophila brain and cancer. No, the point is, though phenotypically, externally they look different, the molecular mechanism, there is so much of crosstalk across many diseases. It may be diabetes, it may be cancer, it may be neurodegeneration. So he's a man of inflammation. Inflammation is a fire. If you can recollect it, it may be Asia, North America, South America, all the ancient civilizations. Fire is a god. Inflammation means fire. Fire is a god. We know, fire is very important. Without fire, sun is a god for all the, even, maybe any ancient civilization we call primitive, even if it is a primitive civilization. That means they have got a fantastic scientific understanding about the natural processes. So inflammation is a fire, but sun is fantastic. If you welcome to maybe a little bit close, it will burn off. Inflammation is a kind of like that. So biology always works with optimum expression of multiple biological processes. Therefore, inflammation is important, and regulation of the inflammation also equally important in order to address not only the cancer, multiple neurological disorders, including Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. So therefore, here we found a kind of common point. So, okay, no problem. As the title goes, there is a lifestyle. Slowly, NIH never had this kind of policy. Allopathic guys, they never believed in it. If you go to National Institutes of Health website today, there is an alternative medicine. Alternative medicine is our idea, Asian idea. It is in our life. So whole world is moving to the alternative medicine through nutraceuticals like curcumin and a number of the things. So we thought, through lifestyle, life is good. If, as the great guy said, food is a medicine. So you can connect the cancer and the neurodegeneration. That is what little bit we know. As far as the cancer is concerned, Sari is the authority. So what is the further connecting? Inflammation. So inflammation is the one. So can we gang up? Fantastic. That's how the idea is born, and we went ahead. Rest is history. Result is as we are meeting today. So there is no need to mention. I think other day in the conference in IIT, somebody was telling Professor, citation index. Yesterday I was just check the Google Scholar. It is 1,31,411. Sir. I think it is more than Professor C.N.R. Rao's. We say India's best brain is one of the best brains. Anytime somebody can get, chemistry Nobel Prize is Professor C.N.R. Rao from Indian Institute of Science at GIAN. So above, so such a, it's a, I don't know, small mouth, big words. It's a great privilege. Sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much for, for blessing us, coming all the way. And Madam Huma, I think she's the mitochondria, the source of ATP behind sir in all ways. So with these few words, I welcome everybody for this program, and I wish and pray, under the guidance of a great man like Professor Bharat, all of us, all the scholars, including me, will have a great way to get benefit, and in the interest of the, whether it is a small or big, science is science, for the small science of this great country, India. So with these few words, thank you everybody once again. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, sir, for the welcoming note. I would now like to invite request everyone to kindly stand on their feet for the university anthem. Thank you all. Please be seated. I would like to invite our VC, respected Professor Parveshila, to say a few words.
It's not enough. Arey, you have gone for ECG. Respected Chairperson, the honorable guests to the university, particularly to the Department of Geology, Professor Bharat Bhushan Agarwal, dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, guest invitees, participants, faculty members, dear students, very good morning to all of you. I think the glimpse of the event which Dr. Sarath has presented, beyond that there is a very little scope, but let me try to have a look at what this GIAN program is all about. GIAN, Global Initiative for Academic Network. But for us, we perceive it with the notion of what is the meaning of GIAN in Sanskrit. That is knowledge. GIAN means knowledge. Obviously, if we look at GIAN, GIAN, this takes away to the same path wherefrom we try to have a pool of scientific diaspora in effort to regain the last glory that we had before Mughal Sultanate. Ladies and gentlemen, I trust it is a common knowledge that the country we can take the pride of to become the citizen of this country, that this country had been famous as a Jagat Guru. This Guru is not the leader, political leader. Jagat Guru means, in fact, the teacher who contributes knowledge on almost every aspect of life. Unfortunately, the country was invaded time and again. And right from 11th century, if we try to track the history, we find up to half of the 19th century. All that was damaged, in fact, all that has taken away the ultimate, that was the glory. We lagged behind, where we were on the forefront. From there, we became to a bench where from now we are burdened with the worry of catching the rest of the world. Under this theme, in 2015, the Ministry of Human Resource Development launched this scheme. And the main objective had been that whether it is IITs, NITs, IIMs, or the universities, particularly the central universities, now we must orient to trap the talent pool, and in that, in fact, that's a diasporic talent, the talent which has migrated from the country, and they did and they are doing remarkably well. To have an association to bring them back along with others, those who have developed and could immensely add to our developmental process. Indeed, one can perceive that the gesture is very noble, and did that chain, in fact, when all the IITs, NITs, IIMs, universities, they are making their efforts, all putting into a nutshell, that is aiming at, once again, try to regain the lost potential, lost glory of Jagat Guru. In the process, the simplest which we are going to get, in fact, that we shall succeed in catching the world in today's scenario, and I think it goes without saying that is a must. We must and we can afford that. When it comes to the Nagaland University, if I taken, I take the, reckon in fact the past event, and if I could recall it precisely on 7th of March 2017, it was the Department of Geography in Nagaland University, Lomami, who had organized the first GIAN program in Nagaland University. And this GIAN program was on landslide and debris flow systems, prediction, control and reclamation. I think, say, the local organizer of this particular GIAN program, Professor Rawat is here amidst us. I had a chance, in fact, to interact with this Professor Martin Haig, the main scientist from Oxford Brookes University. A wonderful person who had really ignited the mind and hearts of the people to venture into some serious science. In the same chain, I must appreciate my colleague, Professor Y. Chandra, that he happened to tap a former colleague of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Bharat Bhushan Agrawal. He happens to be from the same department I have come from, that the Department of Zoology, Banaras Hindu University. As a diaspora, he went to the US, and he has really identified himself as a very tall scientist. And the beauty is that he did not keep himself too much specialized, taking the cognizance of the requirements that it is multidisciplinary approach. He had given a real dynamism to his work. When I look at his contribution as publications, Science, Nature, Blood, all leading journals having an impact factor above 10 or so, not one, many. Taking the pool of these publications in excess of 700. I must congratulate my colleague Professor Sharat Chandra that he could really happen to contact him, and today he is here amidst us. Dear friends, this morning while interacting with Professor Bharat Bhushan Agrawal, it has made me to think, in fact, beyond the territory of what we call human. In say 10-15 minutes of interaction, in fact, from science we had in fact gone to the regime of cyber science. Anyway, that is how, in fact, 15 minutes interaction, the way it ignited my heart and minds, and somewhere left, in fact, a very strong feeling in me that I would have been, say, within the confinement of department as an academician, as a researcher, rather than just heading the institutional leader. Anyway, these are two faces of the same coin. If I cannot do, I stand to see that I shall be instrumental in making it done. Professor Bharat Bhushan Agrawal is here with us for this, for at least for 5 days, giving, anyway, for 6 days, or say at least for 5-6 days with us, and during that he will give a series of lectures. I wish, if I find time, sir, I will definitely make myself present. But what really makes me to perceive and appreciate is the topic, in fact, which department has chosen, that is anti-inflammatory lifestyle for prevention and treatment of cancer and neurodegeneration. Facts and fictions. Ladies and gentlemen, English alphabets start from A. It ends at Z. So beyond Z, the track actually, it gets blunted. The entire energy that remains with the last in the say chain. And there is always there is a fear of, with this much of say imbibing energy, to become inflammatory. And then having a say really a so-called a thought about that let us not become inflammatory, because this makes us to stand a risk of developing autoimmunity. Let's go for anti-inflammatory, because anti-inflammatory mean, to my understanding, getting imbibed with tremendous endurance. What else I have to say? That especially this the participants, please try to take full advantage of your interaction with my senior colleague, Professor Bharat Bhushan Agrawal. Your interaction with him, I'm reasonably sure it's not going to make yourself to remain within confinement of the topic. It will provoke thought process even beyond. That is exactly what we are trying to look forward for. Interaction itself will lead to the genesis of new ideas. And once we generate new ideas, naturally we will try to potentially venture into, and that is what is called how the science advances. All the best for this remaining 6 days means a week, but you capitalize on these 6 days in such a way that it proves to become a mission for the life, for the sake of good, for the purpose this particular program has been launched in. With these words, I once again take personal liberty to welcome my esteemed senior colleague, Professor Bharat Bhushan Agrawal, an international expertise for this week-long events, to welcome on my behalf and on behalf of the Nagaland University. Thank you very much for that, sir, that you could make it possible to be amidst us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for your encouraging and valuable words. I would now like to invite our guest of honor, respected Professor Bharat Agrawal, to say a few words.
Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, Professor, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sharath Chandra, and various other colleagues, I'm very, very, very delighted to be here. I want to thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to come here and share some of my thoughts with you. As all of you know, that my name is Bharat, and I want to contribute something to Bharat, and that's the goal of my life. And for some of you who may not know, in life there is something called serendipity. Serendipity means things happen in life, we don't know why they happen, and how they happen. But as long as your heart is at the right place, things do happen and things do go the right way. And I would like to share some of that experience with you because I come from a very small little town called Batala, which is in 20 kilometers from the Baga border. And my parents migrated from what is today called Pakistan in 1947. And I was the first product of independent India. And I say that's why my parents named me as Bharat. So it just so happened we had only one college in our town called Bering Union Christian College. So I happened to go to that college, and the highest that college could offer me was a pre-medical. So I finished my pre-medical over there, and that was the end of Batala because I could not go any further. And next thing you know, my brother put me on a train to Delhi and said goodbye. And that was the year 1968 was the year that he said goodbye, put me on the train, now you are at your own. And it just so happened that the Chief Minister of Maharashtra came to Batala to give me an award for being #1 in chemistry as a part of the pre-medical student. So I received the award. I ended up in Delhi, and there I was in Delhi University, and I ended up doing my bachelor degree because the only way to advance is to study as much as you can. So I ended up in Delhi University, Hansraj College, and thereafter I ended up in Banaras Hindu University as a master's student. And I finished my master's. I was doing my PhD under Dr. Kanungo, and I happened to have a dirty habit of reading newspaper. And I've been reading newspaper my whole life, and I was reading newspaper. All of a sudden I saw an ad in the newspaper which said from the Ministry of Education that scholarship to study abroad, that anybody interested can apply for it. And I happened to apply it, and I got the scholarship, which I could not believe. I went for an interview in the Ministry of Education in Delhi, and 2 months later I got the scholarship. And my professor, Dr. Madhusudan Kanungo, came in my office in the Dalmia hostel. And Dr. Pardesi Lal knows that hostel very well. And Dr. Kanungo told me, you should not go to America. I said, why not? He said, look, you finish your PhD, finish everything over here, then you should go to America. I said, no, I want to go right now. So I ended up in America. There I was in the University of California, Berkeley, that some of you may have heard of. And that is where I got my doctorate. And then I came back to India looking for a job. And I met this guy, G.P. Talwar. He was a professor and head of the department at All India Institute of Medical Sciences. And I asked him that, okay, now I have a doctorate degree, can I get a job here? He said, no, you cannot. I said, why not? He said, we have too many people in India, and we have to find a way to control the population. And if you can find the solution, we got the cure how to control the population. And you go figure it out how to control the population of India. I said, how do you do that? He said, very easy. So I said, is it? He said, yes. So he said, there is a hormone that is produced in the women who are pregnant. Okay, and that's what leads to pregnancy. And that hormone, if you can isolate that hormone, we can make a vaccine, and we got the, control the population of India. Okay, so how do you do that? He said, don't worry, I will set you up in a place called University of California, San Francisco. And there is a laboratory called Hormone Research Lab. And they've been isolating hormone their whole life. So they're grinding up the brain and grinding up every organ in the body and isolating hormones. So I said, okay, but I need the money to go back and isolate this hormone. He said, don't worry about that too either. There is something called Population Council, which is a part of the Rockefeller University, and I can set you up with them, and they will provide you the scholarship, for that. So he did that. He came through. So he came through both with the scholarship, and he sent me back to University of California, San Francisco, and I worked there on isolation of the hormone, and I was the first one to isolate that hormone. And then I came back to India, and all of you may have heard of, there is one called equine chorionic gonadotropin, another one human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG. So I was the first one to isolate, and then I went back to India, and when I went back the first time, it was Indira Gandhi in power, and I even met Indira Gandhi at that time. When I went the second time, he said, look, we cannot offer you a job. Why? Now we have Morarji Desai in power, and he believes in urine therapy. He does not believe anything in control of pregnancy. What do I do? So apparently it just so happened that he said, look, you can come back as a pool officer. Pool officer, what I call it, a fool officer. That you come back, they give you 1,000 rupees as unemployment allowance, and you look for a job. So I said, no, I don't want to do that. So I went back to America, and there I ran into two guys. Both came from Harvard, and one who had graduated, other who did not. They both came to San Francisco. The one who graduated started the first gene-based company, the first one, called Genentech. And the guy who did not graduate started Apple, that Steve Jobs that you might have heard of. And the guy who started a gene-based company called Bob Swanson. So the first Apple that Steve Jobs made, he brought it to us because Bob Swanson was his closest friend. So we have been Apple ever since. And within a week after I joined Genentech, this guy, Bob Swanson, walks in my office, said, Bart in San Francisco means Bay Area Rapid Transit. They could not say Bharat. Said, Bart, I want you to find a cure to cancer. Hey, wait a minute. I don't know anything about cancer. So he said, I don't know anything either, but there is something called immune system. And immune system kills only cancer guy and not the normal guy. And if you can figure it out how it does that, we got the cure. And so I started to work on taking everybody's blood, anybody, and there were only 10, 15 people in the whole company. And so we started taking everybody's blood, collecting enough blood to isolate that factor that will kill the cancer guy and not the normal. And this is how we ended up isolating a factor. We named it tumor necrosis factor. And as you know, that blood has two kinds of cells, lymphocytes and monocytes. So the question is, where are this factor coming from? And then we fractionated. We found that it was coming from monocytes. Then we started isolating the lymphocytes, and we ended up isolating another factor. We did not know what to call it. So my colleague who had came up with interferon, you might have heard of interferon alpha, beta, gamma. So he said, start the series TNF alpha, beta, gamma. So this is how we came up with this. Now we had identified, and I'm going to tell you in my lecture that when it comes to test tube, everything works. When it comes to animals, most of the things work. But when it comes to humans, you will be lucky even if 1% of the things work. So to determine that if TNF is truly an anti-cancer agent, we have to test it in the patients. So I ended up in the biggest cancer center in the world called University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston. And that's where we injected our TNF. We did the clinical trials and injected TNF. All the patients responded, but they got more sick than ever before. Should it be called tumor necrosis factor or tumor promoting factor? So as of today, TNF blocker have been approved by the FDA with a market over $50 billion a year. No drug known to man has a bigger market. You can imagine. And that is where we discovered all those are just nothing but antibodies, which means they have to be injected. But we were looking for orally bioavailable TNF blocker. And that is where I had a technician, Raj Pandita, who brought turmeric, haldi, whole turmeric from her kitchen, and we tested it. It worked remarkably well. And this is how we identify the active compound from turmeric called curcumin as a TNF blocker. So even as of today, it works in the test tube, it works in animals, it works in humans. Yet it has a close to zero market. Why? Because nobody can make money out of haldi, out of turmeric. It is available anywhere and everywhere. And people are trying to make all kind of manipulation. They are trying to make all kind of permutation combinations, trying to make money out of curcumin or turmeric. So, to make a long story short, now we have identified over 100 different compounds from the mother nature. And I'm going to tell you in all my lectures that mother is the one bringing us in this world, and mother nature is there to take care of it. And that's what my whole talk is going to be. And so if I look back, what happened, when it happened, how it happened, it is all serendipity. So our life is full of serendipity. If your heart is at the right place, things will happen, and there is no question about that. With that, I stop right here and thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words. Indeed, we are really very inspired hearing all your success story. Thank you once again. I would now like to invite Professor Sang Yu Yadan, Dean School of Sciences, to say a few words.
Getting a very good morning to everyone. Our chief guest, Professor Pradesh Lal, our VC. The main speaker, Professor Agarwal, dignitaries, participants, scholars, my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I take this opportunity to say just a few words. In fact, I was not informed to take part, but still, I was surprised to see the kind of developments in the department, and we are inspired by conducting this kind of seminars, symposiums, workshop in the university. We wish to encourage all the colleagues to initiate this kind of programs, especially like GIAN, as Professor Lal, our VC, has mentioned. This was initiated in our department by Professor Rawat, and this tradition has now coming up to our department, and I should continue because academically, we have to develop the university. And inviting expert like Professor Agarwal, I think we will be largely, benefited. And surprisingly, he'll be here with us for not only for 1 or 2 days, but I think he'll be here for 6 days. That is 1 week. So every one of us will be benefited a lot, and especially the research scholars will have in-depth studies. And we wish to see that with his association, through his deliberation, we wish to see that scientific field is enriched to a certain extent. And I believe, and I wish the organizer, especially Professor Sarat, for taking this initiative once again. And I wish to see everyone to have a wonderful stay in this department. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. I would also like to invite Madam Professor Viviana Jamil to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Lau, and eminent Professor Agrawal, and everyone present here. I'm very glad to stand before you and share some of my thoughts here. Of course, I'm not very good at giving extempore speech. Anyway, I just want to express what I feel about this program. So first of all, I'd like to express my appreciation to the Department of Physiology, especially the coordinator, Professor Sharat, for organizing this wonderful program. This kind of program, this gives a platform where our students, our research scholars, and the students as well as the colleagues will learn from such eminent Professor Agrawal, who is renowned all over the world. So I believe that this program will be very beneficial for all the participants and even the colleagues in the university. So I wish this program a very great success. And once again, I'd like to thank Professor Agrawal and the lady wife and all the dignitaries who has come all the way to Nagaland University, Lomami, the most remotest corner of the country, to share your knowledge to us. So I would like to express my gratitude to you and wishing this program a very great success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam, for your kind words. I would also like to request Dr. Bandang Au, HOD, Department of Zoology, to say some few words.
It's okay, have a loud voice. When you ask a teacher to say a few words, it's like waving a red flag in front of a bull. When I'm a teacher, I can keep on talking. But I will cut myself short. We have taken too much time already. Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Agrawal, my senior colleagues, friends. This was something that Professor Sarat and myself were talking about, dreaming about many years back, since many years back. Today it has come to fruition. I'm very happy, I'm very proud, as collectively, as a department, and as a teacher. I know eminent personalities are here. You will have a fruitful time I will urge you to take full advantage of this program interaction. All the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your encouraging words. Lastly, but not the least, with this, we have come to the end of the inaugural session. Thank you all so much for your lovely presence. Lastly, here's an announcement. After this program, I would like to request everyone to kindly stay for the group photograph, after which you may proceed for the high tea, which has been served outside, after which day one lecture will begin. Lastly, here's a quote for all of us this morning. It is said that if you love what you are doing, you will be happy and successful. I hope we all will love our stay here, be happy, and have a successful GIAN. Thank you all. Before we proceed further, shall we all rise up to our feet, like to say the national anthem? Thank you all so much.
Group photo.
We'll have a group photo.
Let's have group photo, then followed by the handy, then followed by the process. Yeah. So let us.